Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Royals Field for Rogers Television Sports exclusive coverage of New Brunswick Senior League Baseball. I'm Bill Gibson. I'm joined this evening by Ian Cormier. Ian, beautiful night for a ball game.
It sure is. A few clouds in the skies, but that won't be a factor at all for tonight's game.
This Ian, really, I think I'm going to be brave enough to say that this probably should be a pitching matchup here worth watching. And two imports going tonight. Shane Kramer for the Royals. Came in really strong last year, top pitcher in the league for sure. Hasn't been quite the same in terms of record and results this year. Still a great pitcher. And of course on the other side of the ledger, Alex Person, the import pitcher for Chatham, has been lights out this year so far.
Absolutely, and I think one of the things that we can talk about when it comes to Kramer, second year in the league, you always have to take into factor that the guys that he's facing have seen him before now, and that might be a factor, but you can't take away from his skill and his talent.
And here we have the starting lineup for the Chatham Ironmen. Jeremy Poole leading off in center field. Chris Keating at third base. Jeff Watkin, another import at catcher. Blake Gallagher, shortstop, hitting fourth in cleanup. Cody Dixon, right field. Jimmy Russell, left field. Nick Leggett, first base. Tyler McKay at DH, and hitting ninth, Matt Lozier, the second baseman.
And of course, as we mentioned earlier, Alex Person is on the mound for the Ironmen tonight.
And here we have the Fredericton defense. Left field, Jody Peterson. Center field, Corey Wood. Right field, Tanner Banks. Around the infield, Mackenzie Washburn at third, Mike Washburn shortstop, Dave Crossman second base, Pascal McCarthy at first. And the battery tonight, the pitcher Shane Kramer, and Devin Boudelier is the catcher.
And we're just about ready for first pitch.
Poole steps in. And Kramer opens with a ball, low and inside. The 1-0. And that's high and away. 2-0. The fans already on the umpires a little bit here after that first pitch. Second one certainly well outside.
Well, it wouldn't be a Friday night at Royals Hill without the fans going after the umpires.
There's a strike. 2 balls, 1 strike. Kramer sets. The 2-1 pitch. That ball is dribbled up the first baseline. Kramer fields and bobbles. That one could go either way, hit or error. Brings up Chris Keating.
Keating's been a mainstay on the Ironmen for quite a few years now. A very familiar name.
Man on first, none out here in the top of the first inning from Royals Field. Kramer sets to deliver the pitch to Keating. And that's fouled straight back at us. Ian, good reactions on that one.
Yeah, absolutely. Not a giant lead over at first base for Jeremy Poole.
And Kramer has a stellar pickoff move. He's picked off several runners this year already. And there he goes back to first. And that was closer than it probably should have been.
Absolutely. Kind of casual going back into first base there. Didn't have enough of a lead to slide in there or anything like that. But
the 0-1 pitch. Check swing. And yes, he went around, says the home plate umpire. Chris Keating in an 0-2 hole.
Bill, when you think of Chatham, you remember the great pitching from Jason Dixon, of course, former Major League Baseball player who finished his ball career here in Chatham for a number of years. And of course, on the Royals side, you got Matt Stairs, hometown boy, who played a few games there for the Royals there one season after he's done his Major League Baseball career.
Certainly a couple legends in the senior league for sure there that made the bigs. The ball is high. They're on the count 2-2. 2-2 pitch, top of the first. Chris Keating standing in against Shane Kramer. That pitch is on the outside corner. It's called strike 3 for the first out.
1 out. Of course, we were talking about those two players, and Jason Dixon has gone on to become president of Baseball Canada.
Yes.
And Matt Stairs has gone back into the broadcast booth.
Matt Stairs, I believe, this year.
Oh, no, he's a hitting coach.
Hitting coach with the Phillies.
The Phillies, yeah, he did move. That's correct.
I think he will forever have a home in Philly.
Absolutely.
In some form or another after the dramatic home run he had in the playoffs.
Oh.
1 down, top of the first. That's the import catcher.
Ball gets away. And Poole moves up to second base on that play.
We've talked now about 2 Chatham imports. They're taking full advantage of the new rule in the league where the teams that didn't make the final allowed to have 2 imports this year, and certainly that's made a big difference for both teams that have taken advantage of that. Both the league leaders, Chatham and St. John, taking advantage of that 2 import rule. And of course Watkin, familiar to some New Brunswickers, a member of the Tecumseh Thunder, and hit over 400, I believe, last year for Tecumseh. 2 strikes now.
Before the broadcast, we were talking a little bit about the records of both teams. Of course, Chatham in first place at 11-6.
Yes.
The Royals are in third at 6-6, but that's a little bit of a deceiving record because a lot of their games have been washed out because of the weather this early on in the season. Only 2.5 games back for the Royals at this point in the season.
And really, I think that's been a factor for the Royals. There's a called strike 3 again for the second strikeout by Kramer here in the top of the first. And both of them looking. And we again talked a bit before the game about Kramer now being in the second year in the league, and teams now maybe having a bit of an idea what he's going to throw. Early on, it appears he's making the adjustments, getting those called third strikes. The Chatham batters. 2 down, that man on second, and he'll look to strand that runner right there. Shortstop Blake Gallagher at the plate for Chatham. And Gallagher hits that one to center field.
Corey Woods underneath it, and that'll end the inning.
Top of the first, Chatham had no runs. I'm not sure whether we had a hit or an error there. I didn't catch the official score, but we'll go with a hit. And we'll take a quick break, and we'll be right back with the bottom of the first.
Tune in to Rogers TV for Jared and the Storytellers, and hear some of the best musical talent New Brunswick has to offer. Join songwriter Jared Lutz as he hosts, performs, and interviews musicians during each episode, with a lighthearted approach and a focus on songs and the stories behind them. Jared and the Storytellers will have you craving for more homegrown music on Rogers TV.
Welcome back to Royals Field for the the bottom of the first inning. Bill Gibson with Ian Cormier here on Rogers Television Sports exclusive coverage, New Brunswick Senior League Baseball. Chatham Ironmen visiting the Fredericton Royals. Ian, Alex Person to the mound here for Chatham, the import. He's been very good in the early going for Chatham.
Absolutely. This is actually my first opportunity to see Person throw. And I've heard nothing but good things about him, so I'm anxious to see how he how he performs tonight.
Likewise, my first opportunity, and I also think it may be the first time the Royals face him this year. Of course, Person out of Southern New Hampshire University, played for the Penmen, appeared in 12 games for them, 8-1 record, 1.26 ERA with 64 strikeouts in 57 innings for Southern New Hampshire, and he's picked that right up here for Chatham in the senior league. And here we have the starting lineup for Fredericton. Banks in right field, Mike Washburn at shortstop, Jody Peterson in left field, Corey Wood center field, Dave Crossman second base, Pascal McCarthy first, Nick Gaudette the DH, Mackenzie Washburn at third, and Devin Boutelier the catcher. Banks stands in for the first pitch.
And of course, Bill, I would be remiss not to mention that Person is from Foxborough, Massachusetts. Yes. So of course he's probably a big Patriots fan, so that makes him a favorite in my books as far as we go there.
I think we're getting along okay on that one, Ian, because I'm okay with the Patriots too. 2 balls to start for Banks. Two balls, 1 strike. Person coming into this game, 3 games pitched, 20 innings, given up 16 hits, struck out 19 for a 1.35 ERA. And has a record of 1-1. 3 balls, 1 strike to Banks.
Fans of the New Brunswick Senior League will notice the third batter in the lineup for the Royals, of course, is Jody Peterson. Jody had announced his retirement last year after a long career with the Fredericton Royals, and he's back in the lineup now. Stayed fresh playing some ball on the intermediate circuit, and has stepped in. Bill, what do you think? There's a base hit.
Yeah, that's knocked down in the hole at short, and Banks' speed, he'll certainly beat that one out.
Absolutely. As I was saying, how do you feel Jody's return will affect that lineup? A lot of young players in there.
Yeah, a very interesting year this year for the Royals, of course, coming off hosting Nationals last year, and right here at Royals Field where they captured the bronze. Big year for Jody last year, and certainly had a chance to go out with the fairy tale ending with the national bronze and the provincial championship here in the last game. He took longtime nemesis Derek Wilson deep a couple times. That ball is called a strike on the outside corner to Mike Washburn, who of course comes in leading the league in hitting. And just back to Jody Peterson for a second. Certainly he's going to lengthen this lineup a lot for the Royals, and he adds right back in the 3-hole here today, and he adds a big bat to the lineup. Lots of pop for sure.
Tanner taking a little bit of a bigger lead at first than we saw, and there he goes.
And he bluffs a little bit. That ball is fouled off. 0-2 now. Caught the catcher.
Of course, Jody's known for his versatility. He's known to play first base. He's in the outfield. You've seen him behind the plate as well. He also advised me that he was pitching a little bit in the intermediate league. So
yes, I saw that as well. I highly doubt you'll see him on the mound here for Fredericton this year,
so.
unless it's an emergency. Of course, he has done that in the past, though. That ball is tipped and caught. Swinging strikeout on the high fastball from Person.
Peterson steps up to the plate. Of course, Jody, a few years ago at Nationals, was the home run contest champion.
Yes.
And wasn't able to keep his crown last year, but still had a great performance in that competition.
Bottom of the first, no score. Pickoff attempt at first, and Banks is back safely. Held on nicely by Leggett. Banks with a very healthy lead and jumping off even a bit farther. Person from the stretch is called a high strike. Peterson. bit hard to tell from our vantage point exactly where that plate is. We're blocked a little bit, of course, by the umpire and the catcher. But time called on the play.
Come on, Jody, here we go.
1 out. The 0-1 pitch. And pick-off attempt at first. Got him. Caught him leaning the other way for sure on that. And a very good move there from Person. For the second out in the bottom of the first for the Royals.
He'd been inching a little bit closer to second base with every play, and I think Person just read that and was able to time it perfectly.
Yeah, he seemed to be leaning a bit. The first move seemed to be towards second.
And of course, he had that one play where he faked going. Well, foul ball by Jody.
And in a hole here, 0-2. Person way ahead, and of course now back into the full windup. Tough spot for a batter from the pitcher to switch from the stretch back into the full windup. Gets a different look partway through the at bat. And Peterson doesn't like that called third strike. And we're going to take a quick break. We'll be back at the top of the second inning.
When it comes to fantasy baseball, smart decisions make winners. Join me, Gabriel Morency, on Game Time Decisions as I break down the best bets, props, and fantasy plays from across the sports world. Watch Game Time Decisions live weekdays on the Fantasy Sports Network, the first and only channel for expert fantasy sports advice and analysis 24/7. Get Fantasy Sports Network with MLB Extra Innings as part of the Rogers Super Sports Pack. Order through your remote on channel 431.
Tune in Sunday and cruise through New Brunswick's trails with a first-hand view from a quad vehicle. Learn about new trails and clubs for the ATV enthusiast. Quad NB, Sunday at 2 p.m. on Rogers TV.
Welcome back for the top of the second inning here at Royals Field. Bill Gibson with Ian Cormier. No score after the first inning, Ian, and certainly the pitchers appear to be in control of this one so far.
Yeah, it's shaping up to be that pitcher's duel that we had discussed, and two great talents on the mound for their respective teams. And we'll see what comes of it offensively as the night goes on. Of course, these two teams met on Tuesday night. Fredericton Royals were able to take a 3-0 lead early on, and Chatham was able to claw back and take the game 5-3 as a final.
And Dixon stepping in for the Ironmen to lead off the top of the second. Kramer with the high heat, called a ball.
From this vantage point, you can see a lot of movement on that ball as well.
Yes. That one lower and swinging, strike fouled off. One count.
Swung straight through that one. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Of course, as you were mentioning earlier, Person has not faced the Royals before. However, the Ironmen have had the advantage of facing Kramer before.
Yes.
So they've seen Shane Kramer on the mound.
2-2 to the right fielder Dixon. And that ball is a bender in there for another called strike 3. That brings up Jimmy Russell, the left fielder for the Ironmen. That was a good looking curveball.
Absolutely. Bent right in there. Dixon, of course, gave the umpire a little bit of a look. We've had that a few times tonight. Some calls not agreed upon by the players.
And another called strike. It appears the strike zones are fairly large here tonight. Could increase the chances for the pitcher's duel for sure.
Well, I think when you have two pitchers with the reputations that our two starters have, the umps tend to give them a little bit of the benefit of the out on the close pitches.
Yes. And that ball was inside, 1-1. To the left fielder, Russell. And that ball is put in play in back of third base. The Washburns converging and taken by McKenzie at third base for the second out. Brings up Nick Leggett, the first baseman. 2 down here in the top of the second inning. What's shaping up to be a quick inning. That ball is hit sharply into the outfield and a sliding catch. No, Peterson dropped the ball. That will go as, I would think, a hit. A tough play in left field for Peterson.
Anytime a player has to dive or slide for a ball like that, if scoring officials usually give them the benefit of the doubt. He had ripped that ball pretty hard and not enough time for Jody to close in on it and make the snag.
You had a nice look at the replay. I'm going to see it one more time. There is the good contact. And Peterson had a shot at that ball, but that's a tough play.
A little bit of a difference from moving from the mound and intermediate out to left field. So.
Yes. Man on for the DH McKay. 2 down, top of the second. And that's a swinging strike, 0-1 count.
Not much of a lead at first base. I would think the Ironmen are aware of that great pickoff move that you had mentioned earlier, and not giving Kramer the chance to utilize that.
The ball is outside the 1-1 count. McKay comes into this game. This would be his second game played for the Ironmen. 2 for 3 in those appearances, and there's another runner picked off to leave McKay stranded at the plate. We'll be back with the bottom of the second inning from Royal Field just after these messages.
At St. John Ambulance, we're all about community. We teach life-saving skills and provide community support through our volunteer services. All St. John Ambulance product sales and training registrations support these important services. Volunteer, donate, or enroll in a program today so we can continue to have an impact on our community. Visit sja.ca to learn more. At St. John Ambulance, we do more than save lives, we change lives.
Everybody come along, everybody sing a song, lighten up and carry on, it's a brand new day. Everybody come along, everybody sing a song, lighten up and carry on, it's a brand new day. It's a brand new day.
Welcome back to the bottom of the second inning at Royals Field. There you have a good look at some of the fans enjoying the action here this evening. And Ian, a pretty good crowd here for what is a beautiful Friday night here in the summertime in New Brunswick. And lots going on. Here's Ian, a replay of that pickoff from Kramer.
We were just discussing the pickoff moves by Kramer and stating that the Ironmen were not really giving them that much of an advantage. And as soon as Kramer saw that little bit of a movement, was able to maximize his attempt to get that runner at first.
Certainly had him momentarily frozen, and that's all it takes for that pickoff to work.
Corey Wood coming up to bat now.
Wood takes the strike. Wood coming into this game hitting only .208 on the year in 8 games played. And Wood fouls that one off down the left field line into the pines. Person quickly up 0-2 on the Fredericton cleanup hitter here in the bottom of the second.
Both pitchers have seemed to find their rhythm early on, working really quickly.
And that's fouled straight back again. Keep it at 0-2. So far we've seen a lot of heat from Person when he's ahead in the count. Maybe time here for something off speed. Time called by the batter.
Of course, we had mentioned about the crowds here on Baseball Hill in Marysville, New Brunswick. Every Friday night under the lights, as the Royals like to call it. Always a good crowd. The Royals are pretty popular here in Fredericton and Marysville and surrounding areas.
And again, that 0-2 fouled back. Yes, it's really remarkable what the group here running the Royals has done with the program. I know when I worked here 20 years ago, you didn't see any of those signs on the outfield for the corporate sponsors. Certainly the backstop brand new, the grass infield recent, the new dugouts, new lights, lots of upgrades here, new scoreboard. A lot of that went with hosting Nationals, of course, last year, but to get something like that, you have to have a strong program in place, and it's great to see. And certainly we know it's the same in Chatham. They've hosted Nationals several times. It's great to see that baseball alive and well and strong at the senior level in New Brunswick. 1-2 count. That ball is inside.
Of course, one of the biggest improvements to Baseball Hill was the bleachers. Bleachers in behind the backstop for certain. A lot more fans were able to pile in. Being here for Nationals last year, they packed in a lot of fans. And games were packed for every team, not just Fredericton Royals.
Yes.
It was great to have that support.
And Person rings up another K there. The cleanup hitter Wood. Dave Crossman, second base. 11 games played for the Royals. 18 at bats, 6 hits for .333 average. Takes the ball low.
Anyone who seems that the name Dave Crossman is familiar, they might recognize it. Dave was a stalwart defenseman for the now defunct St. Thomas Tommies men's hockey team. Played all 5 years for the Tommies on the blue line, one of the most solid defensemen that they had during that time. Of course, Tommy struggled coming on the end.
Yes. Yes.
Dave was always a good standout.
2-0. And that ball is nubbed, foul, and then in front of the plate. Watkin picks that up and delivers it back to Person. Bottom of the second inning, no score from Royals Field. Rogers Television Sports exclusive coverage of New Brunswick Senior League Baseball, Chatham Ironmen and Fredericton Royals. A 2-1 pitch hit down the third baseline, just foul.
And I don't think the fans here are happy with that call.
Umpire well positioned. Tough to tell again from this angle and through the backstop exactly where that was, but have to give the umpire the benefit of the doubt on that one for sure.
Always do. Umpires, of course, have a tough job. Balls are coming in pretty fast. Have to make those split-second decisions. Fans don't always like the call, but for the most part, they're usually right.
The players wouldn't always say that.
No, they wouldn't.
And there's another strike three, the off-speed pitch. Gets Crossman. 2 strikeouts in the inning for a person. That'll bring up Pascal McCarthy. 8 hits on the year and 29 at-bats. 5 RBIs to go with those 8 hits. Nobody on, 2 out, bottom of the second. That's inside. Looked like a breaking ball there, Ian. They didn't quite catch what that was.
Didn't come in very fast.
That is fouled off to even the count up at 1-1. Person, as we mentioned, certainly seems to be a fast worker for sure on the mound.
I think a large part of that is, as we mentioned earlier, the Royals haven't seen Persons before, and might be a lot of guessing up at the plate right now as to what he's going to throw, and we know that he can bring the heat.
The 1-1 pitch. Check swing, and yes, he went around. 1 ball, 2 strikes on McCarthy, the first baseman for the Royals. Person sets and delivers, and that's a heater on the outside and maybe a little high. McCarthy digs in for the 2-2. And that's a swinging strike missed by the catcher. Watkin picks it up to first to leg it to record the out. And Royals scored no runs on no hits in the bottom of the second inning. Bill Gibson and Ian Cormier will be back very shortly with the top of the third.
Looking for the best way to get the Major League Baseball games you want to watch? Rogers Super Sports Pack has you covered. With MLB Extra Innings, you'll have a premium ticket to over 2,000 out-of-market regular season games, with most games available in HD. Don't miss the action from the games you want from both the American and National Leagues. MLB Extra Innings, part of the Super Sports Pack. For only $35.95 a month, Rogers customers get all this. Order through your remote on channel 431 or visit Rogers.com today.
Tune in to Rogers TV this Sunday to get your exclusive inside look at the operation of the Magnetic Hill Zoo in Moncton. Host Hilary LeBlanc brings you behind the scenes and up close with the animal stars of this attraction. Zoo Files, Sunday at 2:30 p.m. on Rogers TV.
Ian Cormier here on Baseball Hill. Welcome back to Rogers TV. There's the third out of the last inning. McCarthy on a swing on the pitch in the dirt. Catcher with the easy throw over to first base to record the out.
And certainly great shot on the camera there. Saw how far out in front he was of that pitch. Really had him fooled. And certainly from the Ironmen side, he's been the story all night. Only bit of hard contact was that 1 ball to shortstop for the Royals so far, and a few foul balls that they've been behind on.
Tanner Banks' base hit in the first inning was pretty much the only solid contact.
Yes.
Had a couple of foul balls, but you can't really call that solid contact because they were a little bit off on that. But
and Kramer delivers the ball. And that one called a strike. One ball, 1 strike. No outs, top of the third inning. And in front of that one for the second strike.
We were talking about Person's dominance early on. Of the 6 batters he's faced, he's struck out 5. Of course, the one batter would be Tanner Banks, who had a single knockdown at shortstop, was able to beat the play, and then he got subsequently picked off at first base. So
Yes.
quick work by Person. And Kramer, for the most part, has matched Person.
One pickoff to one pickoff, and of course Tyler McKay, the batter, was stranded at the plate in the top of the 2nd inning. And there is another called 3rd strike. On McKay. Bring up Matt Logier for the Ironmen. 17 games, comes in hitting 156 on the year on 5 of 32. Certainly appears to be more of a glove player and one of the younger Ironmen adjusting to life in the senior league, and tough start to the year.
It does take that adjustment when you make the switch from intermediate ball up into senior league. Balls are coming at you a little bit faster, a little bit harder, and of course,
that one inside and on the hands hits him. Hit by pitch on the 1-0, certainly no intent there. Here we have the replay of that, and let's take a look and see what happens on this pitch.
Now batting, the center fielder, number 3, Jeremy Poole.
It looks like a breaking ball that just didn't break the way he wanted it to. Of course, Logier looked at the beginning like he was getting ready to swing for that, and then tried to haul back at the last minute and was unable to get out of the way of that pitch.
And he certainly starts to dive in there just a little bit, and certainly inside, but not extremely so, I wouldn't say. That'll throw Kramer into the stretch here.
Bring Jeremy Poole back up.
Chatham turning the lineup over.
Of course, Poole reached in the 1st inning on that little ground ball that Kramer had some difficulty with. Of course, probably would have beat out the throw anyway. He's known as being a speedster.
That ball is outside, 1-1, 1 out here in the top of the 3rd inning. Leadoff batter for the Ironmen. Of course, leadoff in the order, Poole. The man on first, and Kramer out of the stretch. And that's to first. That wasn't the good move.
No. Chatham might be a little bit more prepared for that this time around after pickoff in the top. That might have been the good move.
A little different looking at that one. Quick toss over. And that ball is right down the heart for a swinging strike. 1-2 to the center fielder Poole. Moderate lead at first.
Time called.
Logier tags up. And Kramer looks in for the signals one more time from the catcher, Baudelaire. All set for the 1-2. And that ball is fouled off down the right field line, right down by our broadcast truck. That will hold the count at 1 ball, 2 strikes. Logier on first. And Poole fouls that one off, again in on the hands, fights that away. Tough pitch.
Very tough, up in on the hands. Poole protecting the plate.
making Kramer throw a few more pitches, and of course the more they throw, the more you may get a mistake you can do something with. That ball is popped up between first and second, taken by the second baseman Crossman.
I'll bring up Chris Keating.
Now batting number 5, the third baseman, Chris Keating.
Chris Keating having a very un-Chris Keating-like start to the year. Average not where you would expect it to be. Certainly still a big part of this Chatham lineup, for sure. And that's a single through the right side of the infield.
Good contact on the first pitch. Hits it right through the hole between Crossman and McCarthy at first.
And we have a good look at that. The runner avoids the ball. The Banks in the outfield. Checks the runner back into second to hold him right there. Well played all the way around on that one.
You would notice in New Brunswick Senior League, you don't see, when you have a hitter like Chris Keating, a left-handed hitter, you don't see that like Major League Baseball where they have the shift on the infield. It's usually standard positioning all around, and you don't see those defensive switches very much in this league.
Breaking ball in for the strike.
That allows Keating to hit the ball through the hole in the infield and put Lozier in scoring position, of course.
Jeff Watkin, the catcher, standing in now. Watkin came in hitting .310 into the game, 10 RBIs and 2 home runs. Takes that ball down and in for ball one. 1-1, 2 out, top of the third inning. Runners on first and second for the Ironmen here at Royals Field. And Kramer steps off.
Calling for the signs again.
Another thing we haven't talked about yet is who's not here for the Royals, and that's the Johnson brothers, and certainly having Aaron behind the plate can have an impact as well on the pitching. That's popped up to the right side. McCarthy takes that for the third out of the inning. Chatham strands 2 here in the top of the third, and we'll be back for the bottom of the third from Royals Field very shortly.
You were under pressure, weren't you?
I've got no doubt about Michael Farmer's guilt.
You made sure an innocent man is charged.
I'm being set up.
We're family. We protect each other.
Your dad about to get what he deserved.
I want this killer found. You understand? Police!
Your mouth can do a lot of amazing things. And your mouth can save a life.
Hi, I'm Tom Wong. I'm just one of close to 1,000 Canadians in search of a stem cell match. We need your help.
A simple swab is all you need to register on the National Stem Cell Database. You could be the one to save a life. Find the hero in you.
Welcome back to Royals Field, ladies and gentlemen. New Brunswick Senior Baseball League action. Bill Gibson joined by Ian Cormier. No score here through 2 1/2 innings. Fredericton set the bat in the bottom of the third. Person so far on the mound for the Ironmen has been the story. 5 strikeouts in 6 batters, and the 6th person he picked off.
Absolutely strong performance from Person tonight. Coming up to bat tonight, right now in the third, of course, for the Royals. We've got their designated hitter, Nick Cadet. Mackenzie Washburn will hit second, and Devin Boudelier, catcher tonight, will hit third in this inning.
Gaudette hitting .267 on the season. 4 hits and 15 trips, including 1 double and 3 RBIs.
Before break, we were talking about the Johnson brothers not being here. Aaron usually behind the plate for the Royals. And the pitchers, of course, know him quite well and are comfortable with him behind the plate. Might be a little bit of a different story tonight for Boutillier catching Kramer. I'm not quite sure how many games he's actually caught of Kramer so far.
No balls, 1 strike. With that, no balls, 2 strikes to Gaudette. He's regrouping after that one. Person living up to every bit as the expectations here for sure for the Ironmen. Comes back, swings through in the dirt, caught by the catcher and tagged out. And again, the Royals are talking a bit to the umpire. I think that was more about the second strike than the first one. Pardon me, the third one there. It brings up Mackenzie Washburn, third base for the Royals. That makes 6 strikeouts for Person.
Mackenzie stepping in.
And that's a strike again on the outside corner.
Not happy about that call either.
Home plate umpire has had a big strike zone here tonight for sure. I think that's gone both ways. The strike zone has been big. I think great for the pitchers and the batters, of course, would like to see that tightened up a little bit. And
you're absolutely right.
So much of those corners.
Absolutely right. We've had looks from both teams towards the umpire after certain calls. And, it's all about adapting. If you know the umpire's going to have a big strike zone, you got to go along with that.
Person after the stroll on the mound sets the 1-1, 1 out, bottom of the third. That ball is outside. Of course, we've talked a bit about these teams so far this year. June 7th, 10-9 Royals, and that's a game that Chatham very easily could have won. Royals scored 6 runs right here at Royals Field in the 7th inning with no outs. That was a game started by Kramer and Gary Ryder, of course, started for Chatham. So Chatham has seen Kramer here in Friday Night Lights. The next night, June 8th in Chatham, Ironmen got revenge 5-4, the victory, and of course we've already talked about the game earlier this week, the 5-3 win for Chatham.
Chatham and Fredericton have had a long-standing rivalry, of course. So we've always seen great baseball games between the two teams. High-quality baseball games, of course. And, going back to a little bit about the players that aren't here, fans might notice that Dave Barr is not in the lineup tonight for the Fredericton Royals. Jody Peterson, of course, is in left field. There's another strikeout by Person.
Yeah, I think we may say that a lot by the end of the night. More strikeouts by Person. It's going to bring up the number 9 hitter. Evan Boudelier.
Fans watching at home might see something a little different about Boudelier. He is wearing his batter glove on the top hand, not on the bottom hand of his hitting stance. Usually you see the batters with the batting glove to take the vibrations off the bat on the bottom hand, and a little bit of a difference for Boudelier.
Two balls, no strikes, 2 out, bottom of the third. That's a 3-0. That's the first 3-0 count we have seen here this evening. Number 9 hitter for the Royals. Certainly want to give the extra opportunity to turn the lineup over. And that is ball 4 on the outside.
I'm going to bring up Tanner Banks, of course, 1 for 1.
be interesting to see if there's any change in how the Fredericton batters react, having now been through the order one time and had a look at Person. Certainly so far he's been in control.
In fact, I believe that's the first batter that he was behind in the count, taking advantage of the Royals not seeing him before and getting ahead in the count pretty much in every situation, and a rare commodity to see him walk on 4 straight pitches.
And that ball is in the dirt. And there's 5 straight balls thrown now. The 1-0. Tanner Banks, and there's another pickoff throw. That's a pretty good move there too. Of course, back in safely at first base.
Only the second time tonight we've seen Person throwing from the stretch. And as you'd mentioned, that pickoff move worked the first time, as he was actually able to pick off Tanner Banks at first.
And Banks with a solid single through the infield into left field. Puts runners at first and second.
It's pretty much the exact same spot he hit it in the first inning. Able to find that hole again.
Yes. That brings up Fredericton's big bat, and Mike Washburn. Washburn comes in leading the league and hitting at 412, leading the league in home runs with 4. 9 RBIs to go along with that. 14 hits in 34 appearances.
Mike has been back for a couple of years now. Of course, he spent that one summer up in Quebec playing in the senior league and in Quebec. Unfortunately suffered an injury up there that ended his season. Came back and fit right back in with the Royals.
Two out, runners on first and second. Person delivers outside to Washburn. Suddenly here struggling a little bit to find the strike zone consistently. And what had been to this inning a pretty strong pitching performance from Person.
They got the 2 quick outs to start the inning, and then walked Boutelier on 4 straight pitches.
That is inside for...
And another look from Washburn.
That maybe changed up the catcher there a little bit. Certainly the way the catcher moved, I thought that for sure was going to be a ball on the inside. Reached way out to grab that one. But I guess the catcher was set up on the outside. Pitcher caught the inside corner of the plate. Called strike, 1-1. 2 out. Washburn looking for a good pitch to hit from Person, and he gets one. That one is hit over the fence in right field. Home run for Washburn. I wasn't sure whether we were going to get that off the fence or over the fence.
Well, it was a straight line drive
shot there.
A 3-run shot, and the Royals take a 3-0 lead.
And there we have the danger of walking that number 9 hitter, not attacking him on 4 straight pitches, and here we'll get a good look. Washburn gets a great look at this pitch. And it is right in there, right in the wheelhouse for Washburn, the left-handed hitter.
Person knew it as soon as he saw it off the bat. Looked more like a line drive that was going to go off the fence at first, but it clears the wall. And the Royals take advantage and now have that 3-0 lead.
That leads to a mound visit for the Ironmen. Certainly more regrouping here, and you'd think from the Royals side that feels pretty good to get a lead. Kramer's also been pitching well, nearly matching Person pitch for pitch coming into this inning at least. Get a lead there. So a bit of a regrouping here, a chance to settle him down a little bit. A little bit extra talk here to the umpire. Not sure what that's about, but it's probably about the strike zone or the arguing the strike zone.
And of course, Person's not out of danger yet with Jody Peterson coming to the plate. And Peterson, of course, always a dangerous hitter.
Peterson appearing, of course, in his 3rd game, and we talked about that, and didn't get an opportunity to get into this aspect. I'm not sure if Jody's a part-time player or whether he's back as a full-time player with the Royals here. We certainly know he puts a lot of emotion into everything that he does, and I think he adds that little extra spark for the Royals here, and I think also can add an extra spark for other teams around the league as well. And he hits that one into center field, and that's a long run, and that's over the center fielder's head. And Jody comes into second base. That'll be a stand-up double. Poole didn't seem to get a great jump on that ball, and of course solid contact from Peterson.
And of course Jody stumbled a little bit at first, as you can see on the replay there. It's going to pan out to the outfielder. Jody stumbled a little bit coming around first base, but was still able to make it into second, standing up. Going back to Jody a little bit, of course, he was playing intermediate ball during the season, so it's not like he was coming in cold. He did have some innings under his belt.
And hey, it's good to see that he keeps himself in spectacular shape, that he can step in partway through this senior year without the same ramp up as he might have otherwise had. And it's, certainly his third game, he's racing doubles to the center field gap.
Well, of course, Jody's in phenomenal shape, and part of that is, of course, attributed to his wife Julie, who is, of course, a professional bodybuilder. And it's very common to see both of them in the gym at the same time.
Yes. Brings up the center fielder Wood. 1-1, 3-0 Royals here. 3 runs scored in the bottom of the third inning. 2 out. And Person had been cruising right along here until getting that second out in this inning, and then a walk, a hit, and a big blast by Mike Washburn.
Of course, we revert back second time through the lineup. The boys in blue, of course, have seen Person through that first go-around, know what he's going to throw, and maybe a little bit more expectant of the pitches that they're going to see, and they can anticipate a little bit better. Nice block by the catcher there, Jeff Walken.
Brings it to 3-1, and certainly you mentioned that off the top of the show, Ian, in relation to Shane Kramer and having a bit more familiarity, the Chatham batters, and of course the other teams around the league, playing a part in his numbers, not looking as stellar as they were last year at this time when he first came in. So second look, or more times you get to see somebody, a little easier to get a beat on what they're going to throw you.
And another walk by Person. 2 quick outs to start the inning, and started to come off the rails a little bit for Person. Seemed to have lost the strike zone, and when he did find it, of course, Mike Washburn planted that one over the fence, and then of course Jody had that base hit that went to the wall there in center.
It brings up Dave Crossman, second baseman. Peterson on second, Wood on first. Certainly lots of speed at first base for the Royals. And that ball is laced down the third baseline, and nice stab by Keating. Stellar defensive play, and Peterson had no shot on that one for sure.
Great defense.
Fredericton 3 runs in the bottom of the third inning on the Mike Washburn home run. And we'll be back for the top of the fourth inning from Royals Field very shortly.
They're forcing Jews out of their homes.
We could hide them. You can't make a sound.
What have you been up to in your little zoo?
We're like Jay-Z and Beyonce. We are ride or die.
I'm Jay-Z.
We're in pursuit.
What's your 20?
I'm northbound. Punch is southbound.
Damn it.
Tune in this Monday and pin it for a high-octane, behind-the-scenes look at the sport of motocross right here in the Maritimes. Host Jimmy Chamberlain is a seasoned vet and knows his way around and off the track. It's the Age of Motocross, Monday at 8:30 p.m. on Rogers TV.
Welcome back to Royals Field, ladies and gentlemen. Bill Gibson here with Ian Cormier. Rogers Television sports exclusive coverage of New Brunswick Senior League Baseball. Fredericton leading the Chatham Ironmen 3-0. Fredericton 3 runs in the bottom of the third on the Mike Washburn home run in. And this will give Kramer a little extra boost of confidence on the mound, a slight little pad and lead to work with, something he hasn't had a lot of this year so far.
Well, he hasn't had a whole lot of run support to start off his games. Of course, we were talking about that first game against Chatham that he pitched, where the Royals came back and scored 6 runs in the 7th. But it's nice to see Kramer pitching with the lead.
Brings up the cleanup hitter Gallagher. Comes in hitting .333 into the game. 16 hits on the year in 48 trips.
Big curveball that doesn't seem to find the plate.
Kramer delivers to Gallagher. That is fouled off. Brought some gas on that one.
Kramer, of course, known for his speed and his the heat on his fastball. But something that might be a little bit underrated is how he can command his pitches, and his off-speed stuff is actually pretty good as well. And a good mixture of both will keep the batters guessing.
And that is a ball high and inside, 2-1. For the shortstop, Blake Gallagher. That ball is down the third baseline, and that's going to go foul. Mackenzie Washburn fielded that cleanly in foul territory.
Brings the count to 2-2.
And of course, talking a bit on Kramer. Kramer, a big part of the Royals' run to nationals last year, and they'll do that again this year. Traveling to Victoria, and certainly a little bit of time here to get the team tuned up and playing well, and all hands back on deck. The injuries cleared. Late August, they've got a couple months to do that and to get playing how they want to. Certainly a tough schedule when they get out there. They've got Manitoba and Victoria, the host, in the primetime slot on opening day, and then Ontario and Alberta too, also in their pool. So tough pool for the Royals, but I think we'll see a pretty strong team go west with them this year for sure.
Well, they'll be able to, of course, have some call-ups and some imports from some of the other teams in the New Brunswick Senior League, and that, of course, will booster their roster a little bit. Big bonus for them this year is they're the only Eastern team going out there,
yes.
So they have their pick of the teams. Whereas last year, of course, we had the PEI team here, and it was a little bit of a difference. They weren't able to get as many players that they might have wanted.
2 balls, 1 strike. 1 out here in the top of the 4th inning. That's fouled off by Cody Dixon. Dixon, the right fielder.
One of the drawbacks that the Royals might face is the number of games that they have to make up. So there's going to be a lot of baseball played by this team, of course, before they go out to nationals.
And there's a swinging strike 3 for the second out. Yes, Royals' schedule heats up pretty quickly next weekend. They've got the upcoming stretch where they've got 6 games in 5 days, and then 5 games in 3 days. Of course, play Thursday at St. John, doubleheader in Charlottetown on the Saturday, back here at Royals Field for doubleheader on the Sunday, and then host Moncton on Monday, of course, going through to the 17th. Certainly lots of baseball coming up here in the future. The Royals will test the depth of the pitching staff, and need to come through that stretch certainly healthy and intact, and that's a lot of baseball for players here who is not their full-time job.
And of course, talking about taxing the pitching staff, we have some pitchers, of course, who are not on the roster this year, and Jake Waugh and Nick Laviolette, of course, who are no longer who've retired,
yes.
And no longer on the pitching staff.
Yes, Waugh and Violette certainly played key roles in that. And we have a clean single through the infield.
The first baseman, number 44, Nick Leggett.
It's Jimmy Russell with the single. Very clean through, fielded by Peterson as well. And back in. Brings up Nick Leggett, the first baseman. For the Ironmen. Top of the fourth inning, 2 out, runner on first. 1-0 count, Leggett checks the signs at third base. Stands in.
Not a big lead at first for Russell, not known for his speed.
And Kramer with the move to first.
One step gets him back to first. Kramer keeping him honest over there.
That ball is fouled off. Not sure whether that get the catcher or the umpire off the bat. Get one of them for sure. Evens the count 1-1. 2 out, top of the fourth inning.
Of course, Kramer trying to get this inning over with quick to get the Royals bats back up there, keep the pressure on Person, who after a stellar first 2 innings, first 8 batters really, ran into a little bit of trouble there with the lineup a second time through.
Nick Leggett chased that one maybe just a little bit on the outside. Looked like he tried to put a real good hard swing on that. Just couldn't quite catch up. One-two count. Kramer steps off. Gets the signs again from the catcher. Brings the gas, and that's a ground ball to the first baseman McCarthy, who fields it himself, steps on first base for the third out. No runs for Chatham in the top of the third inning, and we'll be back to Royals Field for the bottom of the fourth very shortly.
Tell you guys the story of how
That guy almost ripped my shirt off.
I come here to drown my sorrows.
You're fresh. I'm gonna cut some pancetta.
Am I right, bro?
I can't decide how many powers you'd need to have to be more important than folk music.
I'm just going to saw this log while you continue to talk. I've been through a lot of accidents in my life, almost more than I can tell. And scene.
Cheese Monkey Box Pirate, Saturday at 6:30 p.m. on Rogers TV.
Welcome back to Royals Field for the bottom of the fourth inning. Bill Gibson and Ian Cormier on Rogers TV. New Brunswick Senior Baseball League. Of course, Fredericton Royals and Chatham Ironmen. Fredericton leading 3-0 on the strength of a Mike Washburn home run.
Bill, apart from the home run and of course the strong hit by Jody out to center field, Jody Peterson, most of the base hits have just been soft little ground balls or line drives that have seemed to have found holes. The pitcher's duel we discussed is in full effect, just that one mistake to Washburn, and Fredericton was able to capitalize on that and make the most of their opportunity.
It brings up McCarthy, the first baseman, of course, fielded that ball to end the inning.
We were talking about Dave Crossman earlier being a multi-sport athlete. Of course, Pascal McCarthy plays volleyball for the UNB Varsity Reds in the wintertime, and spends his summer here on Baseball Hill up in Fredericton.
That was a high pitch for a ball. 1-0 to McCarthy. Takes out a strike. He's not real fond of that. Second time I think he's been talking about balls and strikes. You may want to calm that down just a little bit. Certainly have to be trying the umpire's patience a little bit, the amount of times they're talking about balls and strikes on really on both sides, but particularly on the Royal side. I think seem not to like the called strikes at all.
Of course, it's not uncommon for players to argue the balls and strikes, and we've seen that many times. The Royals seem to have a reputation for that, and they're known throughout the league for it. And I think in a lot of ways that doesn't help them. It takes away.
The ball's into the feet, 3-1. Dances out of the way of that one.
Definitely doesn't give them the benefit of the doubt with the umpire when they're arguing the calls all the time. Sometimes it's best to just stow that away for another time and clear it out of your heads and focus on the game.
That ball is down the right field line and foul. 3-2. Here, none out in the bottom of the fourth inning.
Full count.
Person sets for the pitch, and that is in for swing strike 3. Ironmen will toss that one around the infield. We'll bring up the DH Nick Gaudette.
Gaudette, of course, led off last inning. And led off with a strikeout.
And in the hole quickly. 0-1.
Person seems to have regained control.
And there's 0-2. Gaudette deep in the hole here. Person looking to ring up another strikeout, and there it is. Strike 3 looking. 2 strikeouts here to start the inning, so Person's come back strong again. Of course, we saw this in the bottom of last inning where he struck out the first 2
batters
and got into some trouble. So let's see what happens here. Brings up the third baseman, Mackenzie Washburn. That ball is fouled away into the parking lot. 0-1 count. In the bottom of the fourth from Royals Field.
Of course, anybody who's taken in the games live at Royals Field know that the foul balls behind the plate are always dangerous because all the cars are parked there. And there's another one.
And there's another one, yes.
That one avoids the car. First one, of course, we heard the thud. A little bit of damage to that one. Funny story last year during Nationals. I can't remember exactly what game it was, but Jody Peterson had just arrived from for the Royals' next game and parked the vehicle, and his truck got hit with a foul ball. So that was a little bit of a fun time making fun of Jody about that, saying that little payback for all the dents he's caused over the years.
Yes, and that ball fouled off into the dirt. Of course, keeps the count at 0-2. 2 out. On the strength of 2 strikeouts here in the bottom of the fourth. Person set to deliver the Washburn. That ball is outside. Runs the count to 1-2.
But again, Person ahead in the count, taking more control of the batters in this inning.
That ball is laced back up the middle, and Poole in center field with a nice sliding catch to end the inning. Royals, no runs on no hits in the bottom of the fourth, maintain the 3-run lead, and we'll be back to Royals Field here very shortly for the top of the fifth.
We're the last Lannisters. Whatever stands in our way, we will defeat it.
I
I was born to rule the Seven Kingdoms, and I will.
If we don't put aside our enmities, we will die. And then it doesn't matter whose skeleton sits on the Iron Throne.
Game of Thrones, season premiere July 16th at 9. Catch up on seasons 1 and 2 now free on demand on HBO Canada.
During a routine exam, our daughter's pediatrician detected a heart murmur. We thought an EKG would confirm that we had nothing to worry about, but we were shocked by a diagnosis of pulmonary hypertension.
I was stuck with colors and playtime, not medicine time.
Pulmonary hypertension is a rare, life-threatening lung disease. There is no cure, but treatments are available. Talk to your doctor about pH if you are experiencing these unexplained symptoms. It could save your life.
And welcome back to Royals Field, ladies and gentlemen. There you see that sliding catch to end the last inning by the center fielder Poole, and a little tip of the cap there after the catch. I didn't catch that in live play, but great work on the replay by the Rogers TV folks here to catch that. A little flair to the game, don't mind seeing that a little bit. And here we have to reset the game, 3-0 after 4 innings for Fredericton. Of course, the big blast we mentioned a couple times, the Washburn home run in the bottom of the third with the 3-run shot.
It was different to see with that replay, a Royals batter making contact and actually ending an inning with a ball that was hit and not a strikeout, which Person has pretty much dominated through the lineup.
We'll start here with a Chatham number 8 hitter, Tyler McKay.
Of course, a 3-run lead is not much to the Ironmen, of course, who came back on Tuesday night from a 3-0 deficit, able to pull that ball game out 5-0. So nothing in the annals that say that they're not confident that they have the offensive capabilities of coming back in this game. However, Kramer's pitching pretty well, and it's going to be a little bit of a harder task tonight, I believe.
And as we spoke of earlier, at Royals Field here, no matter who's pitching, I don't think any lead is ever safe until that final out is recorded, and I think the Royals play that way, and everyone who comes in here, I think, understands that. And really, at almost every park around the league, that is the case. But certainly here at Royals Field, with the shorter fence, game can change in a hurry. Kramer behind 2-1 to McKay, the DH, in the 8th spot in the order for the Ironmen. One pitch, and that's a ball, and I think the Royals thought they had strike 3 looking on that one. Kramer certainly thinks he's been getting that pitch all night long. He's going to regroup a little bit. I think he had that one chalked up in his mind when it crossed the plate. That was already strike 3.
And of course, another situation where the Royals are not happy with the umpire's calls tonight.
Pardon me, that would have been strike 2. It's a 3-1 count. And there is the strike to get back to 3-2 for the number 8 hitter McKay for the Ironmen. Stands in, studies the pitcher. And that's a ground ball to shortstop Mike Washburn. Fields it cleanly, throws across the diamond to get him by 2 steps at first.
Good stretch by McCarthy at first base to snag that ball.
Opportunity to get this in while we can. Of course, the next game for the Royals will be Sunday night in Moncton. So if you're watching on Rogers TV around the province, get yourself out to a seniors game. Opportunity there in Moncton on Sunday to see the Royals play. Next Ironman game is in fact tomorrow against the Moncton Fisher Cats at Ironman Field. And there we have the pitch.
Of course, we were talking about Ironman Field a little bit earlier, stating that the Ironmen have hosted nationals in the past, and of course they have that big fence.
Yes.
And it's a beautiful ballpark, a lot of beautiful ballparks in New Brunswick, of course. And always fun to make the trip up to Chatham and see a game.
and that's fouled off for the 1-1. And of course, you're going to Chatham tomorrow. Lots of things going on. I believe Tall Ships is in Chatham this weekend, and of course, I understand the Ironmen are honoring a couple of former players, adding them to the honor roll in advance of tomorrow's game. And I believe there's even an alumni or old timers game prior to that, starting 4:30ish in the afternoon. And lots of special guests and players, and Dean Gallant, Kevin Keith, two long-time standouts for the Ironmen, added to the honor roll. That's to center field. Kept under that one is Wood for the second out of the inning. That turns the order over for Poole. Of course, we've talked a lot about Chatham and Fredericton. Not be a little bit remiss not to mention St. John and the year they're having this year at the top of the league, and
St. John at
very well.
St. John at the moment is only half a game back of Chatham for first place, and of course, as we said, the Royals 2.5 back in third place.
No balls, one strike, and that evens it up inside and low.
Of course, for the fans at home watching on Rogers TV, if they haven't had a chance to come out and see a ball game, it's actually quite incredible to see how talented these guys are. I look at Mackenzie Washburn at third base tonight, and look at how dirty his uniform is, and just diving for balls, and a lot of passion, a lot of heart from all of these athletes.
The 2-1 pitch, swinging strike, evens the count, 2-2, 2 out. Top of the fifth inning. And there is Washburn, a good look at Dirt Dog, as they would be affectionately called, around the diamond. And another 3-2 count from Kramer to the Ironman batters.
Bill, I'm trying to remember, correct me if I'm wrong, was it Craig Biggio or Dustin Pedroia? Of course, Pedroia, future Major League Baseball Hall of Famer, Biggio, current Hall of Fame Major League Baseball player. Which one of them said that they didn't feel that they had played unless their uniform was filthy at the end of the game?
I think that was Petey, but I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Ground ball there to the shortstop, Mike Washburn, fielded and thrown to first for the third out in the top of the fifth inning. Fredericton leading Chatham here at Royals Field 3-0. We'll be back very shortly with the bottom of the fifth.
Tune in to Rogers TV for Jared and the Storytellers, and hear some of the best musical talent New Brunswick has to offer. Join songwriter Jared Lutz as he hosts, performs, and interviews musicians during each episode, with a lighthearted approach and a focus on songs and the stories behind them. Jared and the Storytellers will have you craving for more homegrown music on Rogers TV.
Welcome back to Royals Field. It's been a great night for a ball game here so far. Bill Gibson with Ian Cormier. And Ian, we've seen for the most part the pitching matchup we expected to see with Alex Person and Shane Kramer. The sort of the one blotch on that is the bottom of the third inning where the Royals scored 3 runs on that home run. Person back here for the bottom of the fifth.
Of course, coming up to bat is Boutillier, who got that little streak rolling, took a 4-pitch walk to start that, and got the ball rolling. Tanner Banks with another single, and he's 2 for 2 tonight. He'll be batting second, and then of course the hero of the night so far, Mike Washburn.
Yes, Boutillier The catcher, we started talking a little bit about, unfamiliar with Kramer, but that seems to have settled in. And there's a ground ball to the second baseman, fielded by Logier, on to Leggett. Record the out. It'll go as a 4-3 in the scorebook.
I think Boudelier was expecting that first pitch strike, considering that he had gotten 4 straight balls, and probably knew in the back of his mind that he was getting that.
Banks for his third at bat. Really hard contact both times here, and through to the shortstop hole, and both times, of course, once knocked down by Gallagher, and the other time through for the base hit.
I was just thinking Gallagher might want to take a few steps to his right, because that's the same spot that Tanner Banks has hit it both times. Able to reach the first one, as you said, and the second one, of course, found the hole. A little bit sharper base hit the second time.
He holds back on that one. Does not go on the appeal. 1-1, 1 out. Bottom of the 5th inning, Tanner Banks. The right fielder standing in for the Royals. And Ian, big hole to the right side, to first and second. Even looks like the right fielder is guarding the line just slightly here. That ball is fouled off, and Coach Sibley with the fielding play in the third base box. One ball, 2 strikes. Alex Person sets as Tanner Banks digs in. And Banks takes that one high for ball 2, 2-2.
Person, of course, has seen Tanner hit 2 balls pretty sharp into that shortstop hole. Not sure he's going to give him anything to really hit at this point, knowing that he can make pretty good contact.
That called a ball, and I think like Kramer in the top half of the inning was looking for that strike. Very similar looking pitch that runs the count full to 3-2. Umpire maybe tightening up the strike zone slightly, Ian?
Not sure if he's tightening it up, but I would say that he's been consistent. That pitch has been called a ball now throughout the most part of the night, and even though the pitchers might want it to be a strike, it hasn't been called their way. So.
And Banks stays alive, knocking that one foul. The 3-2, 1 out, bottom of the 5th inning. That ball is low, that bounces, and of course Banks is going to hustle down the first base. With his speed, he's a danger to take the extra one if they're not careful.
Looking back the whole time to see if the catcher was taking his time to get to that ball.
Very, very clean bounce off the backstop here at Westfield.
Of course, we saw earlier in the year Jose Batista taking second base on a very similar play when the catcher wasn't paying attention.
I thought we said we weren't going to talk any Blue Jays here. That brings up Mike Washburn here. Banks successfully back after the pickoff attempt. Washburn, of course, with the big blow of the game, his 5th home run of the year, a 3-run shot in the bottom of the 3rd, and that was a laser line drive out of here.
Banks
goes, and he's in there. He's holding base.
There we see the speed of Banks taking off on the replay, sliding in, beating the tag.
Banks clears the dust. Oh, excuse me. All right, I think I'm back here. It's slightly better. Oh boy, I have a frog in my voice all of a sudden. That ball's back through the middle and nicely fielded, but wild throw. Gonna go off the dugout. Banks is gonna come around to score, and Washburn will go into second on that nice play, but maybe should not have thrown that to first. Ian maybe should have just eaten that one.
That throwing error, of course, will cost the Ironmen another run as the Royals take a 4-0 lead. Of course, that brings Jody Peterson to the plate. Same section in the lineup, doing all the damage.
And of course, Peterson with the follow-up double to Washburn's home run. In that third inning. 4-0 now, Royals. 1 out, bottom of the 5th.
Of course, we saw Jeff Walken go out to Pearson, try to calm him down a little bit. See that with all good catchers. When they see that their pitcher might be a little rattled, they'll go out and chat about it.
And Peterson gets into that one a little bit. He pops that up to Poole in center field, who catches. Washburn tags and bluffs, draws the throw, but a clean one.
That'll bring up Corey Wood.
And Wood's a guy also capable of putting a charge in the ball. Of course, the stellar career he had at the NCAA ranks in the U.S. And a great year back here last year for the Royals as well. Washburn on second, 2 out. Wood at the plate, Person delivers, and that ball is hit hard, and there is that charge that he's capable of putting into the ball. Certainly got all of that one for the home run.
A little game of what you can do, I can do better between Wood and Washburn on that one. Very similar line drive style home run that clears the fence. And of course, that throwing error proves costly now.
Yes, puts another 2 runs on the board for Fredericton. The first home run of the year, and there we can see again on the replay, he got all of that one, and no doubt the outfielders didn't even give chase very long on that one. Cleanup hitter, of course, Wood for Fredericton. Certainly happy to contribute the bat there. Brings up Crossman for the Royals. And that is high for the 1-1. 2 out, bases empty. Royals already have 3 in this inning to go with their 3 in the bottom of the 3rd for the 6-0 lead. That is fouled off by Crossman. 3-0 5th inning. 6-0 in the 5th inning. Maybe time for Chatham to get someone up in the bullpen, possibly. Ian?
I would think so. We want to see Pearson, of course, playing a great game, and he's thrown some excellent pitches. It's just that part of the lineup seems to have bothered him all night. It's been the same group of guys that have caused all the damage, and of course Corey Wood and Washburn with the home runs.
And there he racks up another strikeout to add to his total. Called strike on the outside corner for strike 3. Royals strike for 3 more runs here in the bottom of the 5th inning. A big blow, the 2-run home run by Corey Wood. We'll be back with more coverage of New Brunswick Senior League Baseball. Stay tuned.
When it comes to fantasy baseball, smart decisions make winners. Join me, Gabriel Morency, on Game Time Decisions as I break down the best bets, props, and fantasy plays from across the sports world. Watch Game Time Decisions live weekdays on the Fantasy Sports Network, the first and only channel for expert fantasy sports advice and analysis 24/7. Get Fantasy Sports Network with MLB Extra Innings as part of the Rogers Super Sports Pack. Order through your remote on channel 431.
Tune in Sunday and cruise through New Brunswick's trails with a first-hand view from a quad vehicle. Learn about new trails and clubs for the ATV enthusiast. Quad NB, Sunday at 2 p.m. on Rogers TV.
Welcome back to Royals Field. There you see Shane Kramer, who's now staked to a 6-run lead for the Royals. 3 runs in the bottom of the 5th, go with the 3 in the bottom of the third. 2 big home runs from the number 2 and number 4 hitters in the Royals order. And Ian, I think that's part of the reason the Royals were favored as one of the favorites in the league here this year, despite now only being at 6-6 for a record and in 3rd place. Still a lot of baseball yet to be played, and the lineup, if they get everybody back in it and playing like they can, certainly one to be reckoned with for sure.
Absolutely, Bill. And of course, when you think of the Royals, you think of all the power hitters they've had over the years. They're known as an offensive team. Of course, Jody Peterson coming back this year, and we had mentioned earlier in the evening, Dave Barr not in the lineup tonight, but Dave's always been a guy who can take any pitcher in the league deep. And of course, you've got Mike Washburn, Corey Wood, all power hitters, and that goes back to what we were saying, where the game's not over till the final out. And even though the Royals have staked a claim to a 6-0 lead, the Ironmen are not any slouches in the offensive category
certainly
at all.
More than capable here. 2 more kicks at the can in the 6th and the 7th, and that's a ground ball knocked down by McCarthy, and fields it to Kramer. Called out. I'm not sure about that one at all on the call on first base. Looked to me, Ian, like I thought the Chatham runner may have beaten the call there, and talking a bit about it was the umpire.
Well, it wouldn't be the first controversial call tonight, and of course I'm in full agreement. I thought he beat the throw. Of course, Kramer getting the benefit of the call on that one.
And here we have the replay. Let's get a look and see if we do think he beat the throw. There's the slight bobble by McCarthy. Yeah, it still looks to me on the replay like the runner was there.
It looks like he was safe on that one. Of course, the umpires don't have the benefit of instant replay in New Brunswick Senior League.
A close call, and we'll give the benefit of it to the umpire. Great replay, guys. That's the type of coverage we like to bring in here on Rogers TV. 1 ball, no strikes, 1 out. Kramer delivers. And here we have that play from another angle. Let's see maybe what the umpire saw. Still a close play. Bang, bang. I guess we'll go with either. Could go either way on that one. Still maybe looks safe to me. And a check swing. Appeal to first base. No swing. 3-0 count.
We've been talking all night about the snap decisions the umpires have to make, the quick calls, and we'll give them the benefit of the doubt on that one. He looked safe on a couple of replays, but of course we're not right down there, and the umpire usually has the best vantage view.
And here we have the freeze frame. Certainly looks like his foot is in there on the freeze frame of that. Great job, guys, in the truck on that, getting that replay. Certainly close play. Not being too critical of the umpire, saying we maybe think that possibly got that one wrong. It happens on occasion. Benefits the Royals on that account. Watkin draws the walk and brings Gallagher up the shortstop. Gallagher also being a recent junior graduate. Certainly strong program in the Miramichi through junior. Fouled straight back, somewhere right over our heads. Oh, 1 count to Gallagher, the shortstop. One out.
Great feature for the foul balls for Fredericton Royals, of course, is their DQ program with the kids. The kids chase the foul balls and bring them back, and they're rewarded with a Dairy Queen dilly bar.
That ball makes it by Mackenzie Washburn at third, of course grabbed by Mike Washburn in behind to keep the ball on the infield, and Kramer covering third. Together they keep those runners at first and second, so that will certainly go as an infield single for Gallagher. They bring up the right fielder.
Back to the foul balls. It's not uncommon to see a mass exodus of all the young kids chasing those balls, knowing that they can get that ice cream treat for returning the ball.
And there we see Washburn and McKenzie can't quite come up with it, backed up, of course, by brother Mike.
As you can see in that play as well, Mike held on to the ball, didn't try to make a throw on that, forcing a play. We saw earlier in the last half inning where it led to a run for the Royals. Similar type play.
Mike, a great athlete, and of course, certainly I'm more accustomed to seeing him at third base than at shortstop. That may be one of the areas where, if you do think the Royals are going to pick up some players, they may look up for a middle infielder, move him back onto the Keystone corner there, and as they go towards Nationals maybe.
Big loss for the Royals, of course, was Phil Merrill at shortstop, a stalwart at short for many years for the Royals. And of course, before Phil manned the position, you had Jeremy Turgeon there.
Yes.
Another multi-sport athlete, of course, played in the Quebec Major Junior League. And interesting fact, Jeremy Turgeon was the player that the Halifax Mooseheads received for the #1 pick, which turned out to be Sidney Crosby.
Aha.
Way back in the day when Crosby went to Rimouski.
And here we have the 1-2 one-out count. Chatham runners on first and second. Time called on the field. Big spot here for both teams. This Chatham, of course, with 2 runners on, chance to break the goose egg, and the Royals looking to shut down this middle of the Chatham order.
Of course, with 2 opportunities left to put some runs on the board, you know, not necessarily to score all 6 runs in one inning, chip away with 2 or 3 in this inning, and then they have another shot in the 7th.
And that ball is past the catcher. That will allow the runners to advance. Maybe slight mix-up there between pitcher and catcher. I think they're going to get together and talk this one out just a little bit, make sure they're on the same page.
That brings us back to the absence of Aaron Johnson in the lineup tonight. Johnson, of course, more familiar with Kramer, and also maybe more of a defensive catcher. Might have been able to snag that ball defensively and block it, keep the runners where they were. But pass ball allows the runners to move up, and it also takes the double play out of order.
Cody Dixon, the right fielder, with the 3-2 count. Dixon hitting .296 on the year coming into this game. 5 RBIs and 16 hits. He's going to draw the walk. So that will load the bases here for the Ironmen, down 6-0 in the top of the 6th. Jimmy Russell, left fielder, coming to bat here. 1 out. Doesn't appear to be any action yet in the Royals pen. So this is still Kramer's game. He comes back with heat to get ahead of Jimmy Russell. Called strike 2. Like another heater on the outside.
Russell, of course, is standing at 1 home run for the season. So
1 home run and 4 RBIs. With a good shot here, he could double both of those totals. Kramer stays with the heat. Runs the count to 1-2. Slightly not comfortable at the plate there now, the Chatham batter, after that high heat. And there is followed up with a breaking ball in the dirt. Picked up by the catcher and stepped on the plate to finalize that out. Leaves the bases loaded here with 2 out. They'll bring up Nick Leggett. Leggett, no home runs on the year. Would love to get into one here for his first. Certainly bring Chatham back into the game. Even any base hit there, they'll take, I'm sure.
A single will score 2. A healthy lead at second base. And of course, with 2 outs, runners are going to run on contact.
And Kramer quickly ahead. 0-2.
Both Person and Kramer have looked much more comfortable when ahead of the batters. They appear to be able to make the pitches they want to make. Not always getting the calls they want, of course, as we've been talking about all night, but...
And swinging strike 3. That will leave the bases loaded here in the top of the 6th inning. Of course, aided by the call early in the inning at first base. Chatham goes scoreless. We'll be back with the bottom of the 6th inning from Royals Field. Royals leading the Chatham Ironmen 6-0.
Marijuana is the most common drug found among teen driving fatalities in Canada. High school seniors have reported to having been a passenger in a car with a high drug, and over half the drivers...
The feeling in my fingertips, but these words are ready to leave my lips. Everybody come along, everybody sing a song, lighten up and carry on. It's a brand new day. Everybody come along, everybody sing a song, lighten up and carry on. It's a brand new day. It's a brand new day.
Welcome back to Royals Field, ladies and gentlemen. Rogers TV coverage of New Brunswick Senior League Baseball. Bill Gibson and Ian Cormier. Ian, Royals leading 6-0 here. Certainly could have been a different story after that last inning. Ironmen leaving the bases loaded.
Just a matter of Fredericton at this point have been able to capitalize on the opportunities that they've had. And the Ironmen, of course, with their first opportunity of the game in that last inning, and not able to capitalize on that. Of course, Pascal McCarthy's going to lead off the inning for the Royals, followed by Nick Gaudette and then Mackenzie Washburn.
And the pitcher sets. It is high outside for ball 1 to Pascal McCarthy. This Person returned to the mound here for the 6th. That ball is high and tight. Let's see if McCarthy digs in quite as deep this one. One stood him up a little bit. Called strike 1, 2 balls, 1 strike. It's starting to lose daylight here a little bit at Royals Field, a little bit more Friday night lights action under the lights as opposed to the sunshine that we have had. Cooling off just slightly. That ball's hit pretty hard too. And that's another home run. McCarthy sprinting towards first base. Wasn't sure whether that was going to go out. That'll be the 3rd home run for the Royals. Put them up 7-0 here in the bottom of the 6th inning. And here we have a look at this home run.
McCarthy able to get a hold of that one. Just clears the wall.
Just clears the wall.
And that was McCarthy's first home run of the season. Brings up Nick Gaudette. So all the damage tonight by the Royals has been on the long ball. The one run scored on the throwing error that allowed the Royals to take advantage of that.
Person up 0-2. Just previous pitch, first base coach Bill Saunders trying to calm down his batter just a little bit from arguing the balls and strikes. Check swing just gets a piece of that to stay alive.
And of course, it wouldn't be uncommon to see Mr. Saunders get animated down at first base.
Designated hitter Nick Gaudette. And there's another strikeout. That'll bring up the third baseman, Mackenzie Washburn.
Now batting, the third baseman, number 42, give it up for Mackenzie Washburn.
Bill, are you surprised to see Mackenzie at third and not Mike, and have that reversal, have Mackenzie play short and Mike at third?
Not really. I think from watching a number of the games last year, Mackenzie looked a little more comfortable at third base, and he did limited action. I think I might have saw him last year in the middle infield spots. And certainly Mike Washburn, both stellar athletes, but as we saw on the play where he backed up third, also very smart with the ball on the infield. And seems to be how they've settled in. I think Mike's been at short a couple times here for the Royals, a number of games. Two-one count now. That ball inside, called a ball. Person we've seen him go to his mouth a little bit. Of course, get a little bit of moisture on the fingers, dry them off, get a little bit better grip on the ball. That runs the count to 3-1, low and away.
Person still in there tonight for the 7th inning. Sorry, for the 6th.
Fouled away to run the count to 3-2.
And it appears this is going to be Person's game to the end, as the Chatham Ironmen currently have nobody in the bullpen.
And another strikeout. Really not a lot of balls in play for the Ironmen to deal with in the field this game. A lot of outs by strikeout by Person. Brings up Boudelier, the 9-hitter for the Royals, the catcher.
Boudelier, of course, started the rally in the 3rd with a 4-pitch walk. And, allowed Tanner Banks to move him up to 2nd with that base hit. And then, of course, we had the big blast by Washburn.
Ball on the outside. One ball, no strikes, 2 out. Bottom of the 6th. Bobbled slightly by the 2nd baseman, but picked up and fielded Logier to Leggett to end the bottom of the 6th. The Royals score 1 run on the home run by Pascal McCarthy, leading 7-0. Ironmen with their last kick of the can coming up here in the top of the 7th. And we'll be right back with more coverage on Rogers TV.
Looking for the best way to get the Major League Baseball games you want to watch? Rogers Super Sports Pack has you covered. With MLB Extra Innings, you'll have a premium ticket to over 2,000 out-of-market regular season games, with most games available in HD. Don't miss the action from the games you want from both the American and National Leagues. MLB Extra Innings, part of the Super Sports Pack. For only $35.95 a month, Rogers customers get all this. Order through your remote on Channel 431 or visit Rogers.com today.
Tune in to Rogers TV this Sunday to get your exclusive inside look at the operation of the Magnetic Hill Zoo in Moncton. Host Hilary LeBlanc brings you behind the scenes and up close with the animal stars of this attraction. Zoo Files, Sunday at 2:30 p.m. on Rogers TV.
Welcome back for the top of the 7th inning here in Fredericton at Royals Field. Bill Gibson and Ian Cormier, Rogers TV coverage in the Brunswick Senior League Baseball. Chatham Ironmen needing a bunch of runs here. Ian trailing 7-0 to the Fredericton Royals. Shane Kramer on the mound for the Royals. Last inning, we did a little bit of trouble, left the bases loaded, of course, with the strikeout to end the inning. Chatham bringing up now 8, 9, and 1, and certainly looking to get some runners on base and just keep the line moving. What Chatham needs coming up here.
Bill, we were talking earlier about this field being conducive to runs and big innings, and might be a stretch to think that they can get 8 runs off of Kramer in 1 inning, but nothing's impossible on this field.
Certainly nothing's impossible, and if it starts here at the bottom of the order and you get some of those big bats coming up in Keating, Watkin, Gallagher, anything can happen here for the Ironmen. Of course, as we mentioned earlier, this has been a great baseball game and great baseball all around the province here in the Senior League, and of course in Charlottetown as well, part of this league. Get out tomorrow to Ironman Field if you are watching us here. Maybe see that one in person, and also look for the return match of Fredericton in Moncton on Sunday evening as well. So lots of great baseball. Pleased to bring you coverage here on Rogers TV, and hope you can make it to the park sometime as well. Kramer quickly ahead of Tyler McKay, the DH and number 8 hitter. 0-2 here in the top of the 7th, nobody out.
We saw earlier in the game the Ironmen maybe a little bit more patient at the plate, and of course maybe rushing Kramer a little bit. He was able to keep everything under control, and once staked to that 3-run lead, he calmed down quite a bit and has been able to keep control of the Ironman hitters. Of course, that little hiccup in the last inning, loading the bases, and of course getting out of that jam.
And benefit of the call at first base as well to start that inning. Of course, got the pop up there to the second baseman, Crossman. Maybe didn't quite see that one when it first went up, but managed to make a stab at it at the end to catch it. Certainly big out here for the Royals to start the 7th. That ball is outside. One-0 count. That ball is laced to center field. That's going to fall in for a base hit. And here we have just exactly what Chatham was looking to get started with the bottom hitter, second baseman Matt Logier with a single to center field. And it's good solid contact, and that ball is laced to center. Falls in front of the center fielder, and this is exactly what they're looking to do. I think we have a pinch hitter here. Ian, did you catch that?
I believe Jake Cook was announced as the pinch hitter.
Okay.
Taking over for Matt Lozier. Or I apologize, taking over for Jeremy Poole. Lozier is currently on first base with that base hit. And of course that base hit, as you mentioned, allows the big hitters, Keating and Watkin and Gallagher possibility of coming to the plate this inning.
Two balls, no strikes, one out. Chatham trailing by 7 here in the top of the 7th. Matt Logier on second base. 2 balls, 1 strike. Cook, the pinch hitter. And that goes for a called strike, 2-2, even the count. Boyle's not holding the runner on in first, preferring to take the extra ground on the fielding play. And of course, he's not going anywhere down by 7, you wouldn't think. That ball is laced into left field. That's going to be trouble. Hit the other way, right on the line. Washburn to the ground to field that play. Couldn't be much better placed, Ian, down that line.
Hits the line right in between Washburn at third, and of course Jody Peterson charging in from left field. Neither one of them able to reach that ball in time. Washburn with a good play to keep the runner at second base, not allowing him to advance to third. But as we talked about, this starts the ball rolling, and now the big bats are coming up for Chatham. Chris Keating coming to the plate.
Keating, the 2-hitter. Opportunity here with 2 men on, and again it looks like the Fredericton battery is crossed up. Catcher Boudelier not seemed to be expecting that pitch that came in quite as much as it did.
Yeah. And of course we go back to the last inning with the bases loaded and able to get out of that jam. That gives Kramer a little bit more confidence. He's got 7 runs to play with now instead of maybe 3 or 4, depending on how many the possibility was for that last inning. Kramer looking to close it out here tonight with a complete game. Won't say the S word till the final out. That's a no-no.
Yes, Chatham has the line here moving a little bit, and there we even the count at 1-1 to Keating.
And on that swing, Keating was not looking for a single. Big cut on that pitch.
I've had it said to me in golf, swing hard in case you hit it, and I think that's exactly the same thing that Keating was thinking there. Keating does not offer at that one, called a strike. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 1 out. Chatham trailing by 7 in the top of the 7th here in Fredericton. And a breaking ball there for a swinging strike for the 2nd out. That will sit Keating down. Brings up the catcher, Watkin.
That's a big strikeout for Kramer to get Keating, one of the more potentially dangerous hitters on the Chatham Ironmen.
Watkin does have 2 home runs on the year. So we've certainly seen a lot of strikeouts here tonight.
Boudelier holding that ball there for the umpire's view and not getting the benefit of that call. But like we said earlier, that pitch has been called a ball all night. So
Chatham down now to their final out, 1-0 count on Watkin. Make that a 2-0 count on Watkin, a high pitch. Kramer regrouping. Certainly would like to get this guy here and not allow more Ironman batters to the plate. And of course, if you're Chatham, this is exactly the guy you want at the dish in this situation. 3-0. And Ian, do you look at one here? Do you make him throw you a strike here in this situation? Or you look to be aggressive?
I think you can be a little aggressive in this situation. You're down by 7 runs. You have nothing to lose. If he's going to throw you one right down the plate, why not take your cut at it? If you miss, you still got another pitch coming your way because you're so far ahead in the count.
And he is aggressive. That ground ball to third base, grabbed by Mackenzie Washburn, and he steps on third to end the top of the 7th. Strand's 2 runners for the Chatham Ironmen. And Ian, certainly we talked about a pitcher's duel. We saw lots of strikeouts, but of course we also saw the big bats of the Royals. 3 home runs, most of the Royals' runs. The Washburn a 3-run shot. And of course McCarthy with a home run, and Wood with a 2-run home run as well. I think I had 9 or 10 strikeouts for Kramer, and about a dozen in my count for Person as well.
And I think
Your thoughts?
I think what we can say about Person is he pitched a great game, just made those 3 mistakes. Those were all the offense that the Royals needed. Kramer, for his part, was able to keep that last inning in check, and hits were very close, 7 for the Royals, 6 for the Ironmen. Just 3 of those hits for the Royals were bombs that cleared the fence. Both teams with 1 error. Of course, the pass ball on Boulerier, and the throwing error for the Ironmen that allowed the run. That was counter, but great game. Exactly what you expect to see from these 2 teams. A great ball game. You could say it was a lot closer than what the score indicated. Those 3 home runs really made the difference, and great to see these teams at it again.
I would certainly agree with you. That's certainly what you expect to see, and what you expect to see across the league. For Ian Cormier, I'm Bill Gibson. Thank you for watching Rogers TV coverage of New Brunswick Senior League Baseball here on Friday night from Royals Field. The final score, Fredericton 7, the Ironmen 0. Thank you again for tuning in, and look for more baseball down the line on Rogers TV.
Due to the length of the preceding program,